Hey guys, I am so excited. I wanted to do something different. I feel like I never really just talk to you guys. I kind of make posts and put things up that I've accomplished or things that I'm working on, but I wanted to have a conversation with all of my IG, Facebook, YouTube fam and friends, and I wanted to talk about healing. So I released Dear Young Me. It's a devotional and journal to heal your inner child. One of the questions that I was asked is, what steps exactly did I take? And I thought it would be a really cool idea to just kind of take you guys through each step and read the devotional that I wrote that goes with it. So I'm going to do that over the next couple of weeks. So this is the introductory video. The 4 steps are acknowledge, reveal, feel, and heal. Those are the 4 main steps that I took when I began my journey of healing. And so the very first devotional is called Acknowledge Your Pain. And I want to read that to you guys and then just have a little discussion about my thought process and what I was going through during this particular time and journey. So acknowledge, admit, or accept the existence or truth of. I was on a path of self-destruction. I blamed anyone and everyone for my pain. It's almost as if I wanted them to feel as broken as I did. I would bottle up all of my emotions to shield myself from being hurt. Sound familiar? I was viewed as mean, but inside I felt that my life didn't have meaning. I refused to acknowledge the very thing that caused me to feel this way. I would cover it up with clothes and superficial things, but that wasn't working for me anymore. There are not enough material things to cover up the wounds of a broken past. I had to determine the root cause of my hurt. Trust me, I know that's easier said than done. It is difficult to address issues that you have spent years suppressing. However, you have to take the Band-Aid off at some point so the wound can begin to heal. It was in a challenging moment of self-reflection that I realized that everyone else was not the problem. It was me. That's not to say that I hadn't been hurt by others. I did, however, give them more power by holding on to the pain. Once I acknowledged it, the healing journey began. The beauty of the journey is not found in the destination, but in the steps you take along the way. And so my scripture reference for that devotional was, heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved, for you are the one I praise. That challenging moment that I'm referring to there, it was 2017. I had been married for about 2 years, and my husband is my absolute best friend. He's one of the nicest people. I say it to him all the time. He's one of the nicest people that I have ever met. And pretty much before that, prior to that, anytime I was mean to someone or put up a wall against someone or push someone away, I was always able to blame it on them. Well, they did that to me. Or if I couldn't blame it on them, I would blame it on my dad. Or, things that happened to me when I was a kid, I would be like, this is why, I don't talk to anyone. This is why I stay to myself, No one understands me. I feel like I'm always misunderstood. No one knows what I've been through. I was so angry all the time. And in 2017, there was an instance where my husband and I were talking. I'll never forget it. And he was not yelling at me. But if you talk to him, actually talk to him when he becomes passionate about something, his voice is going to naturally go up. He's going to be like, man, this is what I'm saying. That's my Kyle impression. Man, listen. That might be better. But anyways, that's my impression. He becomes so passionate. And I don't know what it was. It could have been his tone. I have no idea. But I literally just started crying because he wasn't yelling at me, but it felt like he was yelling at me. And I was just sitting there like, why am I reacting like this? Like, what is wrong with me? And he's looking like, okay, what is going on? And I'm like, oh God, I don't know. I didn't know. And I had to sit there with myself. I had run out of people to blame. And I couldn't blame him because he didn't do anything. I had to look at myself and acknowledge that, man, maybe there's something deeper all this time. Maybe it really wasn't everybody else. Maybe it was actually me. And I just cried. I went to the bathroom and I just cried out to God. And I'm like, God, I don't know what this is. I don't know why I'm reacting this way, but I need you. I was tired of going through the same thing over and over and over and feeling attacked and feel all these things. I surrendered it to God. And it was hard for me because I had spent most of my life blaming everyone else. And then I realized that I just needed to acknowledge that there was something there that needed to be healed. I let a handful of people hold the power over me for decades. And the moment that I acknowledged it, that's when I found myself on a journey of healing. Physical pain is not the same as emotional pain, right? So if you have a Charlie horse, or for me, a toothache. So toothache is a different type of pain. I don't know if you guys have ever had a toothache, but the second my tooth starts hurting, I'm like, okay, where's the Tylenol? Where's the ibuprofen? Because a toothache will go from 0 to 100 real quick. So I'm like, I don't want to feel this. Your body's going to let you know that you have pain there. That tooth is going to come in like, hello, you can't suppress that. You have to do something. You have to fix it. But when it's emotional pain, your brain tends to try to push it aside, try to cover it up, try to mask it, make you believe that it didn't happen, make you believe that you can just keep moving forward without addressing it. But that's just not the case. You have to deal with it. At some point, you have to take that Band-Aid off. You can only put a Band-Aid on for so long. Even like when you cut yourself and you put a Band-Aid on, at some point you have to take it off and treat it. Even if you're going to put the Band-Aid back on, you have to treat that wound. You can't just cover it up. And that's what I was doing for years and years. I refused to acknowledge that there was something deeper with me that needed to be healed. And when I finally acknowledged it, I started to find my strength again. I started to find my happiness again. I had found this picture of myself a few years ago, and I posted a lot on social media. It's one of my favorite pictures. And I used to, when I was little, just smile as big as I could in these pictures, y'all. I mean, I would just cheese. I didn't care that I had a gap. And I would just smile as hard as I could in any picture. And if you progressively start to look at me over the years, that smile got smaller and smaller until it really just completely went away. I went from loving to take pictures to completely hating it and hating myself and not feeling that I was enough and not feeling that I was good enough or worthy of love. I let words that people spoke to me that, like, there was one particular instance, and I want to get back on topic, but this is what I would call a defining moment. Because it stuck with me for a long time. They told me that because of who my father was, that I would never amount to anything. And even now, and I'm 36 years old, people will still use my family or my dad to try to bring me down and belittle me and make me feel like I don't have the right to have a dream. I don't have the right to receive good things. I let that get in my head. You hear something so much and you start to believe it. I didn't know who I was, so I started to believe what people told me I was. They told me I was a nobody. They told me I didn't have a voice. They told me my opinions didn't matter. They told me that I was basically worthless. And I heard it so much and so often that I believed that for a really long time. But the good news is I'm not worthless. I'm loved, I'm chosen, I'm called, I'm set apart, I'm beautifully and wonderfully made. I have my prayer board. I have all those affirmations you saw me looking at. I'm literally reading it. I recite those to myself pretty much every day. You have to acknowledge that. I mean, that's really the first step. And I know you may not want to be vulnerable. You may not want to sit and think about every bad thing that ever happened to you. You may not want to acknowledge your part in the things that happened to you and the things that you allowed to keep happening because of what happened to you. But it's the most important part, because I believe that's when you find your strength. The more vulnerable you become, the stronger you become, because now you're taking the power back. And so the next step, and this is what we're going to talk about next week, is to reveal. And one of my favorite devotionals is called Dig Deeper. Why, when, how? Dig deeper into those things. This was just kind of an introduction into this conversation of healing. It's such an important conversation. I wanted to write this devotional because I wanted to inspire other people to start their journey to heal. And you're not healing yourself. You're taking steps to become a better person. And I'm not doing this alone. And that's why it's a devotional. You're not doing this alone. We're doing this with God. We want God to heal us, but we have to put in the work. Healing is an inside job. You have to take the necessary steps, and you have to be willing and ready and open to heal. It's just like the story I used when I said you're in physical pain, you have a toothache, you have to get up and get the Tylenol, and you have to take it and you swallow it and it goes down inside of you. But once it's inside of you, then it does all the work. There's nothing else that you can do. And it's just like that on this journey of healing with God. You have to get the word of God down in your heart. You have to get it in your mind and your body. And once it's there, and once you invite God into your heart, then he can do all the hard work, right? But you have to take that first step, and you have to acknowledge the pain. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into this. Like, I really am excited about these conversations. I think they're needed, and I think they will be impactful. Join me next week at the same time. I'm going to be talking about step 2, which is to reveal. See you guys next time.